Hey guys, you join me in the inside of the Kia EV6 GT, and I wanted to take you guys on a tour of this infotainment system and all the screens and electronics in here, because there's a lot of stuff going on, and it might be a little bit overwhelming if you're getting into this for the first time. This also pretty much will apply to pretty much all of the EV6s, and I think almost all new Kia EVs coming out. So if you're looking for information on Kia EV, or I guess Kia's new infotainment system, this is the video for you, and let's dive into this right now. Okay guys, so we are inside the EV6, and this is the GT model, so we do have the GT button right here, as you can see, and a few more extra goodies like these crazy bucket seats, which are really nice. But nonetheless, a lot of the technology that you're going to be seeing here is pretty much the same. Starting up your EV6, they're all going to have this pretty much similar EV push on and off button. This is a little bit different than to something like with Volvo or Tesla are doing, where you just walk into the vehicle, put your foot on the brake, and there's no button you really turn it on or off with, and you just leave. I do like having a physical button that kind of helps you to remember that the vehicle is on or off. I like that kind of physical interaction you're having with the car, as so much is already being taken out without any engine sound under the hood. So what do we have here? We have these dual screens right here on this EV6 model, and they're really good contrast, pretty nice and high resolution as well. And if you want to talk about really high resolution, we need to have a look at this backup camera. Now, of course, you can access the backup camera by popping it into reverse. So you have this scroll wheel right here to put it into reverse, neutral, and drive, and then park in the center. Pop into reverse, and we can access the backup camera. But so we don't have all the beeping, I'm just going to press the quick access camera button, which we have in this little trio of buttons down here, and we can access the camera systems and the infotainment system right here. And I have to say, they are fantastic. Now, we do have a full 360 view as well around the vehicle, which I think is a fantastic option. Even Volvos don't have this. If you're thinking of a C40 or an XC40 recharge, this is something you're going to see on like other German vehicles actually. So this is a really nice feature, and the wheels actually do move if you are moving the car, as you can see right there, which is a really fun feature. A little bit of a gimmick, but it is an option for you to have there. And you do have additional camera options in the menu if you want to kind of pop through those. But nonetheless, fantastic camera from Kia Hyundai Group on that screen right there. So what else do we have in this interior? Before we get to the infotainment system itself, we do have our driving display up here, and there's a lot of stuff going on in here actually. So we're in eco mode right now, and we have eco, sport, and normal modes, and they really just changed the look of your background right there. Nothing crazy is happening. Pretty much all the same stuff is going to be going on in your display right there. But as you can see, there is a lot of information happening. I think we're going to go over that a little bit for you guys. So as we can see right now, we're going to have most of our headlight controls up here, and these are our little menus that we can change via the buttons on the steering wheel right here. So we can cycle through these menus, and those can change whatever is happening in the center of the display for you. And you can also change those with these buttons right here. So you can cycle through a tire pressure display or this power meter gauge that we have right here. Nonetheless, you're always going to have your speedometer on your left and your charging on your right. So right now we have 42 miles of charge, and this will increase when you're accelerating, and then if you're regen braking, this is going to kind of demonstrate what's happening on that side. You have your battery charge in the middle right there. And this little bottom screen is going to change depending on which mode you're in. It could be a power meter, it could be an efficiency meter, and you have your temperature. And on the left over here is a little bit more interesting. So we'll always have our state of charge here, and it can say ready. And this is going to show our regenerative braking options. So you can control the regenerative braking in your EV6 with these paddles on the steering wheel. And there's two really main modes you can kind of operate them in. Is these modes where you're able to select levels 1, 2, 3, or I-pedal, which is your one pedal drive mode. So you can just press it down and see that'll decrease down to off, essentially. And if you press your up pedal, it'll go to level 1, level 2, level 3, and now we're in I-pedal mode, which is your one pedal drive, where you don't really need to have to use the brake, but obviously it's always there when you do need to. But that's something you gotta get used to as you drive your car over time, and it will indicate that it says I-pedal there, right there when that is turned on, and even if you turn it off as well. Now, if you do hold these two paddles down, actually, it will kind of operate in an automatic regenerative braking mode, and it can actually connect with your navigation system if you use Kia's built-in navigation, kind of smart regenerative braking. I'm not a big fan of that. I actually like controlling a little bit more manually. And you can actually use the pedals to kind of just hold it down to brake instead of like even using the brake pedals, which is really interesting. So there's a lot of options with the regenerative braking, and I like having that. Some EVs have like an on and off setting, or it's a really limited settings with your regenerative braking. I love the customizability that Kia is allowing you to do in the new EV6. Now, obviously, as we're in the GT mode, GT model, I might as well show you what we can do. So if you pop it into GT mode with this big button right here, you're gonna unlock the full power of your EV6 GT, and that really actually only comes at 70% stated charge. Below that, you're really gonna have your reduced power levels, which is something they don't always tell you about. And there's something called drift mode in this one, so you can actually turn off the traction control completely by waiting till it turns off. It says disabled, and you have to make sure you're in park, both feet, I guess your foot pressed all the way down on the brake, and they're full of paddles like this. Sorry guys. Yeah, you just pull the paddles like that with both hands until it says drift mode activated, and that will put it in a rear wheel drive based mode with sending all the power to the rear wheels, so you can kind of like slide around and have some more fun. And to turn that off, you really can just like pull the paddles again, or operate it in a different mode, and drift mode will be deactivated. But always remember to turn your traction control back on, because this thing likes to spin up the tires really quickly. Now, the rest of the vehicle, really limited on buttons actually in your center console area, which I kind of like. I do love the hard buttons for your heated seats and heated steering wheel, which is fantastic. You also get that in the rear seats as well. I love the ambient lighting on this interior. As you can see, it is fantastic in here. We have this really nice kind of texture going on with the LED lighting. And right now it's linked to your drive modes actually. So if I press GT mode, that's gonna be a green color. It's even all the way down to the floor levels as well, which is fantastic. We have a red for, or kind of like a purple for sport mode. I'm gonna put the lights off so you can see that better. Blue for eco mode, and I think it's like another blue for normal mode. But in the settings, you can actually customize to any color you want. So this is just kind of like tied to drive mode settings, and then that will be adjusted when you can go into this infotainment system. Now we also have a full heads-up display over there, which is kind of difficult to see on camera, but this operates in either augmented reality mode or regular mode. I have been driving in augmented reality mode actually. I think it's fantastic. I have had no problems with that. It looks pretty cool. And of course you can turn it on or off, or change all that in the settings as well in the infotainment system. Here we also have separate climate controls down here, and I'm not a big fan of this actually, where you kind of have to like go into your climate controls by pressing this little hotkey. I do like it that it's separated from the infotainment system, but this is a little bit weird to kind of get used to. You will get used to it over time, but often you can just press auto climate and that will kind of work. The range loss when the climate is on is really low. It drops like 2 miles. I've never really had an issue with worrying about climate and having range anxiety, so that's not an issue. It's just this one doesn't have the best range in general actually. Hopping into this entertainment system, we have it in dark mode right now. The only issue I have really is that Apple CarPlay is not wireless here, so we have to have it plugged in to the USB cord, not even USB-C. It has to be the regular USB cord, and it is so slow of a charging port. Unfortunately, you know, I've been here for like an hour and we've only gone up like 10%, so it's really slow. We do have a wireless charging mat here, which is ventilated and does work very well, but there's no point in using it if you don't have wireless CarPlay, so, or Android Auto, which is really annoying. But that's one just big gripe here. Now this is your main home screen you have here. Sliding over, and you have your kind of maps, and this is a wonderful screen as you are able to edit it. So you just hold down like on like iPhone or something, and you can drag around all the icons if you need to, which is fantastic. You can reset it to like a default menu as well. Now there are a lot of different menus you can go into, but the quick ones I always like to show off are EV mode. So this is going to show all of your EV driving settings. So it's going to show like a nearest charging station for you, your estimated range with climate off or on, and we also have kind of like scheduled charging and climate times down here. And you also kind of manage your vehicle to load settings is here as well, and you can go deeper into EV settings from like a charge rate, you can charge in currents, battery conditioning, utility mode, and all this stuff. This menu is a little bit cluttered. I wish they kind of like fixed that a little bit over here, but nonetheless it is pretty simple to use, and there's even a search bar for you as well. Going back home, again, pretty simple stuff here. We have your navigation system, which seems to work pretty fine. It's pretty responsive and quick. It doesn't have all the latest charging port stations actually on here. There was like a new 350 kilowatt fast charger near me, and it was not built into the system yet. So I'm not sure if that's just a software update or something, but I wish that was kind of like visible there. Otherwise, you can just go into Apple CarPlay, as we have right here. Really beautiful Apple CarPlay screen. It really takes up the whole screen right there. It looks really nice. And I have also charging apps with EVgo, which is not showing up on here, Electrify America, PlugShare, And so that's easily accessible on here if you need to use those. But Apple CarPlay works fantastically on this screen. Obviously, then you can go back to your Kia system right there, which is pretty easy. And settings, you have a whole bunch of stuff going on here, and this is where it gets a little bit confusing because this is like an endless amount of screens you can pop through. So in vehicle settings, actually, you can customize your drive. Here we go, active sound design. So this is where you can kind of change the sound that you're going to be hearing in your EV6. There's 3 set sounds called stylish, dynamic, and cyber. Oh, here we go. Get a little bit of taste of them. And you can also customize your own sound in this whole screen, which is really cool that Kia lets you do this. So they really want you to have fun with this and kind of make the car your own. We also have our heads-up display settings, as I mentioned before. And I wanted to show you guys one more thing. Oh, the driver safety systems. This is a really cool display that Kia has that kind of shows you all the driver safety systems that are happening at once, and they all work fantastically, I do have to say. These are some of my favorite systems on the market. On your steering wheel right here, you have your controls for your kind of lane keep assist with the automatic steering, which works awesomely. It's one of my favorite in the industry right now. And we also have our button to turn on our smart cruise control, which is on or off right there. And that is also really easy to use. And all that information is displayed up in your augmented reality heads-up display, which actually looks really cool. This is one of my favorite systems. And combined with the cameras, when you have the turn signals on both sides, you really are getting a good amount of safety stuff going on here. Of course, you have blind spot monitoring as well, and all the good stuff. So really love their safety systems that Hyundai and Kia are doing right now. We also have an individual drive mode on this EV6 GT, which you can access by pressing this twice. So I'll press it into my drive mode. And in the infotainment system, you can customize a whole load of stuff in this car. So this car has a lot of additional stuff that maybe your regular EV6 might not have. So we can change the motor settings from Sport Plus to normal to Eco to Sport, or you can change your steering. You can optimize your suspension. This one has a rear limited slip electronic differential that you can put in 3 different settings. So there's a lot of stuff that you can kind of like change here. Even your traction control, which is pretty cool. So there's a lot of stuff you can kind of customize to your own setting, which I really like that they have the option for that. I love that. Even your digital gauge cluster you can customize there. So there's a lot of stuff you can do in this infotainment system. And I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a taste at what it is capable of. And that's pretty much it on the interior of the Kia EV6 GT. We do have these touch buttons to kind of activate your interior ambient, I guess, dome lighting up here. But there's not many buttons and kind of stuff to kind of go through in this car, and it's pretty intuitive. I also really love how when you change these settings for your wipers, it displays what's happening on here, because you're not always going to be able to see what's happening there. I do love that. And that also goes for your headlight settings as well, which I really think is cool. Full LED lights up there as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it about everything in the interior of the EV6 GT. I haven't had really any complaints in here. I love these seats of the GT model. They're exclusive to this model. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for a lot more stuff coming soon from Allcarnews.